So, I worked at TXDOT this summer as a summer traffic engineering technician. What we did a bunch of things. So I'm gonna start with traffic operations. We did MicroStation, which is a lot like AutoCAD. We did the stuff below, so like the ITS work, which was information technology reviewing and editing. We did work orders for speed limits and sign changes. We did speed studies, which was going out and checking to see if the speed was the correct one for there, and we refer that area, and we would do the 85th percentile of over 125 cars going eastbound, westbound, northbound, southbound. It had to be both ways, whichever way it was going. Then we did strip map work, so we drew up, traced lines for certain areas off of Google Maps, and then we would take that and put it into a microstation deal they had, and we could put in signs or we could put in traffic lights or stuff like that. And then we did an estimating project, 435, which was traffic projections over 2020, 2040, and 2050, and it was just how many vehicles they thought were going to be on 35 over those years, so they could guess, well, or no, they can make an estimated guess on when they would need to work on the road all the time, when they need to work on the road to like repave it, restripe it, or stuff like that. So that was in the traffic operations. We did a lot over there. We learned a bunch. I learned a lot about traffic and different speeds and different striping methods and different AutoCAD uses. MicroStation uses, which is a lot like AutoCAD in some ways, but at the same time, it's a lot different. So being over there, it was a good. I liked it, enjoyed it. Then we did meetings. The meetings we participated in, and we also sat in some of them and just listened because a lot of things we didn't know anything about. So like the first couple weeks, we didn't know anything, so we would just sit and listen. But after a while, we started to gather what they were talking about, and then we could actually, get in there and speak and listen and talk and everything. So we had camera installation meetings, so just where they needed to go all across the Austin district, how they were installed, stuff like that. They demonstrated it to us and all that. And then we did weight and motion cameras, which there's two of them. There's one off 30. Both of them are off 35, and they're coming, both directions, northbound and southbound, and it detects how much or how heavy a vehicle is that's driving on there, and it's just to cut down on the amount of semis that are driving through that are overweight, so it doesn't tear up the road. We had meetings over different intersections, so like if there needed to be a traffic light there, needed to be a crosswalk there, sidewalk there, a beacon there. We did stuff like that. And then sidewalks, we did the sidewalks off of 35 because they're redoing 35 right now, which is called Mobility 35 project. And what they do is the sidewalks have to be a certain distance from the road, and they have to have it in certain places. So we had to talk to them about that because there was a bunch of right-of-way problems that they had to deal with. So we had to talk to them about that, Mobility 35 people, and fix that stuff. And then driveway placements is another. So like off 35, there's driveways. Well, they can only be a certain distance from where the exit ramp is, and they can only be, they have to be so far away from where the feeder road is. So we had to, we'd talk to them about that and have to fix stuff like that. And then land development in certain areas. So there was one land development that they were building man, I don't even remember, but they had to put in water. Electricity, they just need to know where the water drainage needed to go, or electricity could be run if there was anything running underneath there. And then we did site plans, which was one in Manor and one in, no, there's two in Manor actually. One of them was for a convenience store and a grocery store slash shop. And we had to, determine where the driveways needed to be, if the entrances were big enough, because driveways had to be 425 feet from traffic light, and then the driveway entrances had to be 45 foot wide or more to fit vehicles in there. Then with the traffic signal department, we had a lot of safety training stuff that we went over because we would always get in the bucket truck. So we went 62 foot up in the bucket truck a lot, and we'd have to do training over, wearing our vests, hard hat, closed-toe shoes all the time. When you ever get out of the truck, put your hard hat on no matter what. And, wear safety glasses. And then we did installed signaling device. So we did a crosswalk light that we built from the ground up. Did all the electrical wiring and mounting on the ground, and the sign placement. And then we did the flashing beacon, which we wrote from the ground up. It was 20 foot tall, and it had a sign on it, flashing light, had the big box on it with the batteries and electrical deal, and we had to use the beacon, the boom trucks to lift him up and place it and everything. That was interesting. And then traffic poles, we just assembled those. I didn't actually go out and install those, but we assembled them in the yard there. So we had to put the boxes on there, three-way turn signals, five-way turn signals, and stuff like that. And then there was motion cameras and then the detection zone. So the motion cameras detect the cars coming, so it can determine when the light needs to turn yellow or red, to stop that car. And also, and then now there's detection zones. So, like, detection zones will be at the line there, wherever the traffic light is, where you stop usually, and it'll have these zones that are around the cars, and it'll detect if that car's there, so we can put a call into the system to let those cars go through if there's nobody else at any other intersection. But if there's people at all in different intersections, it just goes through the whole cycle until it goes. So. And then we did manual timing for an intersection in Georgetown. We put a flash drive in there and it burned it up, and so it reset the whole program. So we had to do manual programming and timing for that intersection. We had to determine like all the limit switches where they would go to, and had to determine like the delay times, the go times. Had to determine when this lane needed to go at this time and this lane needed to go at this time. It was a pain, but it got it done. It was a lot. We learned a lot doing that. And then we put together these modems for the cabinets that sent out a wireless signal. You can view the cameras in that area, and it'll show the traffic in that area. So there's a bunch of different modems in every box, and they go in a 1.5 mile radius. And so we assembled those. We didn't put them in the cabinets, but I did assemble those and put them together and saw how they programmed them and everything. And then classes that help would definitely be drafting. We did a lot of AutoCAD when I was in the traffic operations building. Industrial safety, because TXDOT is very, very, very big on safety. I mean, their number one deal is Project Zero, and zero deaths, zero injuries, zero anything. And they're striving for that very, very, very hard. They haven't had a day like that since 2001. So, speech classes for the meetings, to talk to companies and the people you work with and communicate more effectively. That definitely helps. Math classes for doing the estimation and doing some of the programming stuff helps. And then industrial controls, when we were doing the manual timing, it was a lot like the programming that we did on the computers, kind of like Omron. It's not the same thing, but it's a lot like it. So. And then what I wish I knew before I started there, I wish I knew more about traffic signals in general. I didn't know very much about them. And I mean, you won't learn about it until you actually get there, but you don't ever think about what actually happens or what goes into traffic until you actually start working for a place like that, and you go out in the field and you learn about all of it. So, and then we had to use MicroStation. We used AutoCAD, which is similar, but it's it's still different. So it'd be nice to learn MicroStation beforehand, so we can make the transition way, 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 way better, since you already know how to use a program. And then how to have the meetings effectively. Since we don't really have meetings in school, we have group meetings, which isn't really the same thing. Like, because those meetings there is way different people every time. It's most time it's always different people that are coming from out of state or over in San Antonio or Dallas Fort Worth. So, that would definitely have helped too. And then review ITS materials. So that's like reviewing and editing CAD stuff, drafting stuff. We didn't review and edit CAD stuff when I took it, at least. We just did the material, turned it in, got a grade for it. That was it. So. And then the degree prepared me for this job. Having taken many different engineering classes, related classes, it definitely helped with the concept. Having, like I said, drafting was definitely the biggest thing. There wasn't very much economics. I mean, there was, but I wasn't involved with it. There wasn't any mechanics and materials or anything like that. It was more civil engineering based stuff, but at the same time, it correlated with manufacturing engineering, which was nice. And then doing group project school definitely helped the interactions between the people in the companies, because it gets you talking and gets you interacting with what's going on. Even if you don't know what's going on, at least if you talk to them, you can get a good idea of what's happening. So, I feel that this job definitely helped, and well, maybe after I graduate college, they might offer me a job, or I might call them up, and they might want me to come in for an interview, and so I can go back and work there and have a job after. So I think it was effective job. I think it did what it needed to do. I learned a lot, and I think it's going to help me, years on with the experience I got from there. So, thank you.